Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an update on my Kings of War Goblin army. Deliciously orange, as you can see. These are from the Mantic Goblin Army box. Let's start with the Fleabag Riders, shall we, because I really like these models. They're very detailed, especially the beasts that they're riding on. And I don't know if you can see very well because of the camera angle, but I kind of airbrushed a skin effect onto them so that they're kind of bluish underneath and orange on top. I'll show you this guy actually, you'll be able to see better on him. This is my converted Wiz, which you will have seen a video on probably, but not painted. So you can see under there that he's blue on his underbelly and orange on top of the beast. This is because I discovered this completely by accident. When I was spraying the riders in orange, obviously the top half of the monster became orange as well, and the bottom half was still white, and I thought, that looks kind of cool actually. So I tried putting a blue glaze over it, which is the Citadel blue glaze, and it kind of ties the colours together really nicely, and it makes it look really quite fetching, I think. And it doesn't particularly spoil the orange riders on top, because it does change the orange on the monster. So that's how that was done. The green on the monster's hair is just a very bright green with then Tamiya clear green paint over the top of it, which acts as kind of like a wash and just darkens all the crevices considerably. Now, the way I've done the orange on these guys, I'll show you in my converted Bigot. I started off just spraying them with Vallejo orange, and then there is a Citadel weakland flesh shade wash over it. I found this is the perfect shade for orange because it has a little bit of pinkiness to it, so it doesn't darken it too much, and yellow wash was really not strong enough, and regular orange wash isn't that strong either. I found that the flesh shade just does enough in the crevices to darken it without changing the overall colour too much at all. And you can see it stands out quite nicely from the monster that he's riding on. You can't tell that they were the same colour originally. There's nothing complicated about the Goblin Skin, but the Troll Skin, what I did there, because I wanted them to be very dark, but I didn't want to deal with lots of complicated highlighting, so what I did, I'll turn them around because there's more visible flesh on the backs. I started off with a very light green, and then I applied about 5 layers of Agrax Earthshade wash over it. So it's very dark in the crevices, and you can still see hints of the fact that it was very pale, which is just a really easy way of reverse highlighting, if you will. So I'm very happy with how they came out, and the dark skin really makes the orange much more vibrant on the trolls, I've found. When it comes to the basing, I decided to be a little more adventurous than usual. I'd never done snow bases before. So I used this Gale Force 9 snow powder, which was kindly donated by Mr. Spud. And then I used Army Painter Battlefield Tundra Tufts, which kind of looks snowish. And if you put these on first and then apply the snow powder, then a lot of the snow powder will get stuck in the tufts as well, which ties them in even more nicely. So it's a very good look. I also decided to do a few more adventurous things than I normally would. For example, there's cork on a lot of the bases, which looks pretty cool. I've put dead bodies all over the place, dead elf around there, dwarf head, and then some mushrooms on there, more mushrooms on there, stands of arrows on these guys, and this wonderful little fence made out of matchsticks, so it looks like those two are jumping over it. So I need to put a little more into the bases since I wasn't going to be using the full amount of models per base. So if you look at these trolls, there's barely any space on there. I don't know how anyone would fit 3 trolls into that space without them being incredibly cramped or facing the wrong way. So 2 seems like the perfect number there. These guys, obviously, there's less than the standard amount. Now, one thing I'm going to mention on the snow bases, if you want the snow to look extra white, what I did first was just paint the entire base in white, and then PVA and then the snow powder stuck to that. But the problem with PVA glue, when it's not on a perfectly even surface, sometimes, I don't know if you can see it here at the back of this troll base, there's a little bit of kind of yellowish or greenish-ness going on there. It darkens a little bit when there's some kind of rough texture under it, which happened a lot on these goblins because they were all on those circular holes which weren't completely filled in. So anytime the PVA went in there and the snow went on top, it kind of turned yellowish. So what I've started doing now, after painting the whole base white, is mixing a bit of white paint with the PVA glue and then applying that and putting the snow on top of that. So that way the PVA will always be nice and white underneath, which is what I did in these ones, which is why they've got such a pure, white, beautiful snow effect on there. Whereas the goblins, I've had to go around and actually apply more snow and more whiteness around their feet. So it doesn't ruin them or anything, but you can see where the extra snow has been applied later. But with all the future units, I'm going to be doing it the same way I did these guys. So they're all going to look quite lovely. I've got about 3 more units of goblins left to do, and the mincer from the army box. I'm hoping to get them all finished by the time the new Kings of War rulebook is released. And anyone who's currently building a Kings of War army should probably watch out, because the Orange Horde is going to get you. Oh yeah.